Welcome to The Art of Being Unstoppable, the podcast where women from every walk of life come together to break barriers, embrace their power, and live life on their own terms. I'm your host, Vicki McDougall, and each week we explore inspiring stories, actionable strategies, and empowering conversations to help you step into your confidence, amplify your voice, and create a life without limits. No matter where you are on your journey, this is your space to grow, thrive, and become unstoppable. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of The Art of Being Unstoppable. I am so happy you're here today because this guest of mine, I was also on her podcast, and she is just someone that I could talk to for hours and hours because we just click. We've met each other over the years, but lately when we've really started to connect, she is someone that if you are going through something and you're grieving, she is the person to see. She just is a safe place. She makes you feel like you are the only person in the room, and she will help you get through anything. So let me introduce to you Margaret Dennis. She is a holistic grief coach, and she is here with me today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Vicki. I'm so excited to be here. So excited to
I'm
have
so
another
happy.
conversation. Have another
I know.
conversation.
I know. And you know what I love is that we both live not that far away from each other, which means
hmm
we can collaborate, we can work, we can visit, we can, whatever it looks like, I don't know, but we can, have a bigger impact together, which I
hmm
absolutely love. So
hmm
before we jumped on, and we usually have a little bit of a warm up before we do, but I said, like if we don't jump on Zoom, we're just going to talk and forget to hit record because
Yeah.
we can talk about,
Yes.
right? It's just a beautiful thing, which
So
I
true.
love. So
hmm
before we jumped on, we were talking about alignment and how aligned we both feel at this state of our
mm
lives. Like we are both in our 50s
hmm
and we have both worked, we've worked all our lives. We've raised kids. We've gone through the shit storms. We've done it all. Like
hmm
we've gone through it. We've been there. We've done that. But now we're here
Yeah.
and we are brought to a place that feels so aligned that just makes you want to jump out of bed in the morning.
Oh, it truly does. It truly does. And I I don't think I ever knew what it was like to feel like this until I hit this age. I've had jobs and careers in the past that have been really fun and really exciting, but now I don't know. They talk about how this phase of our life, right? Menopause, postmenopause, where we're really stepping into who we are. And oh
Yep.
my gosh, are we ever? And I think if for any woman who's listening to this, if you've got an urge and a feeling and a pull to go do something, do it. Don't wait.
Yes.
This is not, you don't know how much time you have. Just do it.
Mm-mm.
We're at a point now where our kids are independent. We might be helping with parents, but we don't have as much responsibility of looking after the littles anymore.
Yes.
Well, usually we don't. But it's a time where we can really lean into what brings us joy. What do we enjoy doing?
Mhm.
How do we want to make our mark in the world if that's important to
Yes.
you? But you know what? It's life is so short to not have joy and
Absolutely.
to not feel joy. And yeah, I get up like you said, get up every morning, jump out of bed. Maybe not jump out of bed every morning,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I I know that I am one of those entrepreneurs where I could work in my business every second of every day because I love what I do. Um, and I don't even find it to be work. Like some things are
No.
not as enjoyable, the basic administration stuff, not so much
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
But doing what I do, getting to create programs, getting to connect with clients, getting to get out and speak on stages and run workshops and do women's circles and go out and teach at retreats. Like it's so much fun. And to be in that power seat, I guess, that
Mhm.
my own personal power seat and get
Yes.
to make
Yes.
all the decisions and do the things that make me happy and do the things that I feel compelled to do and drawn to doing. It's so much fun.
It is.
It's so aligned. So
Yeah.
aligned.
And you can
Mhm.
see it when you and I were talking earlier, even we were talking, it was just like we're both lit up for what we do.
Yeah.
But you had
Yeah.
shared something with me just before we jumped on the
Mhm.
call about your past weekend and what you're going to start to offer, which I think, uh, is like the icing on the cake to what you do,
Mm-hmm.
because not only can you help people, and you do help people one to one
Mm-hmm.
in small group settings, but this took it almost to another level. It took it to
Mm-hmm.
a place of, well, you to tell us what you did this
Okay.
weekend, and explain, like, what you're
Yeah,
offering now,
sure.
because it's just an amazing.
Yeah. So, this past weekend, I actually had the opportunity to go away with a client. We did schedule it on purpose. We rented an Airbnb. So we were both out of our homes, away from the distractions. And we spent 2.5 days coaching. And so it was incredible because there was no time constraints. We had a loose agenda. I knew what they wanted to accomplish over the weekend, but there was no
Yeah.
like, we have to do this and this and this and this. It was like, all right, where are you feeling leaning that you want to talk about? Where are we going to go with this? What are we going to do? But we spent a lot of time just easing into the weekend. We did some breath work, we went for a walk, we sat around the fire. We just had conversation to just let their body settle and feel safe. Because a lot of the work that I do as a grief coach is working with grief and feeling the grief. And a lot of the times, if our body doesn't feel safe, we're not going to go there. We're not going to really
Mhm.
get as deep as we need to be. And
Absolutely.
it was such a beautiful weekend to be able to hold space for this client and allow them to process and move through all the emotions in a really safe space, but without the distractions, which
Yeah.
I think is, this weekend was all about them. And it was so incredible. And they walked away from this weekend feeling a lot more healed, a lot more um, positive. I'm trying to think of the right words. They were so excited when they left about the progress that they had made over the weekend, and it had been internalized. It was like, yeah, okay, now this is really solid in me and I can take the next steps. And I feel like I've, crossed this big bridge.
Yes.
That sounds like
Yes,
crossing the
yes.
bridge, sounds like crossing to the other side, but they've moved through something that had been holding them back their entire life, that they
Yeah.
hadn't been able to access in our one-to-one sessions. Like, I'd worked with them prior. We'd done my one-on-one intensive, and that was,
Mhm.
we'd meet every week for an hour. But what we were finding is that hour we were like right deep in it. And then it was like, I don't want to pull you out, but we have to because the time. So it
Right.
was absolutely amazing to be able to hold space for someone and let them feel supported, let them
Yeah.
trust the process and honor it, right? Like, there were times where, like, okay, I've done a lot, I'm tired, I'm going to go have a nap. Great, go have a nap. Listen to what your body needs, right? We ate
That's
healthy
right.
food. It was beautiful. And so this is something I'd wanted to do for a long time, and now that I've done it, done this, I'm like, oh, I want to offer this all the time. And I think for a
Absolutely.
lot of the women that I work with a lot of like executive, entrepreneurial women who they don't have like they want to get in, they want to deal with it, they want to get the results. And so this is a really fantastic way of doing that. Um, so yeah, I'm very, very excited because normally I work with my clients one-on-one. You'd mentioned group. I do it more, group is in person.
Yep.
But I
Yep.
don't, the group stuff is something as far as an online program
Yeah.
and things working with women, I'm just developing it because I find with grief, especially when the women come to me, they are usually like, okay, I've tried a whole bunch of stuff. I've gone to therapy. I've done this and it's not working. And I need something even more,
Yeah.
but they're vulnerable. And for a lot of the women that I work with, when they're in those higher levels within their business and they have to be on all the time,
Mhm.
and there's this performance aspect to it, when you
Oh,
start putting
yes.
people in a group, there's still that need to perform because
Mhm.
and so I create really, really small, tight containers, for women where we can
Yep.
build that trust in that. But mostly we start working together one on one, move through the really intensive private things, and then can move into a group setting. But yeah, and I'm starting to do retreats as well, which is really, I'm
which
just
I
working
love.
into that and I love it. I've taught at retreats for years
Yeah.
and I've always loved that. And I think that's just another aspect of being able to bring people again. It's like giving that weekend experience, but like
Mhm.
to the group.
Yeah.
And so much
Yeah,
healing can
absolutely.
happen.
Oh, for
Hmm.
sure. And when you do get like in a retreat setting, you get that you still have that hierarchy, so to speak, though. And I've
Hmm.
noticed that at retreats, you still have certain people that will push back at some of the,
Hmm.
no cell phones for the weekend. Well, no, I need my cell phone. I can't. But you don't.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? These rules
No.
aren't rules to
Yeah.
be put in place because we want you to feel uncomfortable. They're here so that you can
Hmm.
heal. And you have no
Right.
distractions in your healing, right? But
Right.
you also do what you work with young girls as well.
I
Every
do. I
summer
do.
you host. What
Yes.
is I am looking forward to when my grandchildren are a little bit older because they're still very young, but because I would love for them to be able to experience something like this because I think the younger we teach our children what is
Hmm.
possible and how to navigate through their feelings and their thoughts and their way
Hmm.
of being that, I was never taught that. I wasn't.
No.
I just wasn't.
No.
And that's not on my parents as a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. That's just what it was.
Hmm.
And,
Yeah.
my mom did the best she could at where she was at. She never knew. And I love that that I'm starting to be able to give that to my children and my
Hmm.
grandchildren. So I think that what you do is it's just, it's phenomenal. Like,
Yeah.
share us a little bit about that because I think it's really important that people know that it's not in your 20s, 30s, or 40s or 50s that this starts. This can start at a younger age.
No. It does. It starts at a very young age. So a colleague and I, my friend Leah, she and we actually met at a retreat when we were both there teaching. And I had a young teenage daughter at that time and she had a young daughter as well. And we were like, you know what? This retreat for women that we're at, we need to do this for girls. Girls need to be able to connect with their emotions, understand their emotions, get familiar with them, learn how to look inside themselves for validation.
Right.
Being a teenage girl, honestly, you could not pay me enough money to go back and do my teen years. They are
Nope.
some of the hardest years that we go through as girls,
Mm.
and it's different for guys. I know they have their own struggles, but I'll tell you, girls, we are bitches. Bitches when we
Oh, yeah.
are in our teen years. And it's
Oh,
almost
yeah.
like there's this primal fighting to be noticed, fighting to be the best. And we're not always nice about it. And in this day and age too, like the things that we see the girls who are coming to our camp. So the camp, let me just back up. It's called Unshakable Me. You can find it. It's online. We've got a website. Registration is now open for the summer. We have 2 weeks that we're doing, one up in my area near Ottawa and one down close to the Bowmanville area in Tyrone. So they're day camps, Monday to Friday, 9 to 4. The girls come. We do all kinds of activities. And through the fun that we do with them, like we do a lot of crafts with the girls, we let them be kids, right? These are girls that are showing up at school as mini adults that don't get a chance to
Mhm.
play. They don't get a chance to breathe. They're being bullied. They're being picked on. They're being excluded. They're struggling in school. They've got issues at home. Like there's so many things going on in these girls' lives. And they
Yeah.
come to camp and we start, we teach them about women's circles. We teach them about the power of community. We do a lot of exercises that teach them that they're not the only ones going through it because we think we are, right? We're like, I'm the
Yeah.
only one excluded. I'm the only one people are picking on. I'm the only one. I'm the
Mhm.
one. And we do exercises sitting in circle. We're like, okay, how many of you have experienced this? And I will tell you, every single girl in that circle, their hand goes up. And we say, like, look
Yeah.
around. How many of you thought you were the only one? You're not. And it's like you have other people going through this, similar to you. But we teach them how to identify their emotions. We have an emotion wheel that we give them that's got like so many, and and every morning and every night they have to check in with that. Like we do a check in. We're like, how are you feeling?
Yep.
Because we really want to get them to a point where they identify them. Because as women, we are ruled by our emotions. Our
Yes,
hormones
we are.
dictate our emotions, right? And so we go through a 28-day cycle on average, right? Where our emotions are going to change. Our energy
Yep.
levels are going to change. Our
Yep.
motivation is going to change. Our ability to think is going to change. And we don't teach our girls that this happens. And sometimes they're like, I'm feeling really, bitchy today, or I was so excited today and I had so much energy. And
Yep.
so we teach the girls actually about their cycles. And we're like, this is what happens. And this is why, this is how you can feel. And getting them in touch with their emotions, getting them to trust themselves, leaning into their intuition, leaning
Yeah.
into, looking inside and saying, you know what, the fact that you are here on this earth and you're breathing, you are worthy, you are enough. Like, getting those thoughts into the girls. But, and it takes time, but through the week, we do a lot of empowering work with them. They are creative. They get to express themselves. We do
Yeah.
some fun activities as well that are, well, we're not a sports camp. We're definitely not a sports camp. We're come and have fun, and let's learn about emotions. But we've started last year because we'd noticed it in the girls that were coming to us. We tend to have a lot of girls who are neurodivergent, like girls who are, and I don't like using this word, but people know what I mean, misfits. The ones
Hmm.
that are being bullied, the ones that aren't always included, the ones that don't have the massive group of friends, the ones that always feel different and alone, or the ones who are struggling at home.
And
They're the ones we
you know
tend to
what?
attract.
When you say the misfits too, something that just came to me is that the normal kids, the
Yeah.
kids that aren't here, like aren't posting every day, or don't fit
Hmm.
into the box that society
Yeah.
says we fit into. I was that normal kid. I had
Oh,
friends.
me
I had
too.
great but I
I
wasn't
was.
that kid who was the most popular or the
No.
I just and I didn't know where I fit.
Hmm. No, and that's the problem, right? Like we're coming and we have all these things, we're being bombarded. The kids are being bombarded by
Mhm.
social media. They're being bullied online because it's so much easier to say something to someone when you're not face to face, right?
And adults are still
And
doing it. So if
oh,
they're seeing
yeah,
their parents or whoever doing it too, right? Like it's happening everywhere
mhm,
all the time. Doesn't matter your
it
age.
is. It is. Absolutely it is. And I think when we were growing up, Vicky, we were like, we would see the movies, and like, I think it was around the time of like Twiggy was out there, and like we'd see these women who were
Yeah.
like these unattainable kind of images of what
Yeah.
we're supposed to look like, right? And then
Yeah.
you see the movie stars and the magazines. You remember like 17 and all those magazines that
Yes.
we'd whip through and
Yes.
stuff. So
Yes.
the girls still have that, but now it's online 24/7.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're, I love how you said that girls are normal. I love that. I'm going to use that. Thank you for sharing that. But like
No
I
problem.
was the girl who was bullied from grade 3 to grade
Mhm.
8. Those are formative years, right? And
Absolutely
so
there.
I wasn't bullied and like beat up or anything like that. It was the girls saying, "Oh, yes, you can play with us today," or "No, you can't."
Hmm.
And so there was that constant, I didn't know if I would have friends. And then I
Yeah.
grew up in a really small town, and so the friend pool very small. So every time I
Yeah.
would make a new friend, when they kicked me out of the group, they would come and swoop in and take that friend, and it was really
Mhm.
bad. And so I remembered what it was like to be that kid, right?
Mhm.
And then I'm watching my daughter move through public school and into high school, and she's experiencing similar things. And I'm like, oh my God, we need to do something about that.
Yeah.
Because the other thing, I just want to link why this actually came up for me is, as I was coaching the women I was coaching in their 40s and 50s and 60s, inevitably we were ending up back in childhood dealing with the
Yeah.
shit that they'd gone through when they were kids,
Right.
and healing the grief that's attached to that. Because if you've been bullied and ostracized and picked on at school, there's a lot of grief attached to that,
Oh,
and a lot of feelings of
absolutely.
self-worth and
Yeah.
unworthiness and not enoughness and blah, all those things. Our goal at camp is to teach these girls that they are enough, that they are wanted, they belong, and they always, every year, every camp, we don't make it big, like max 12 girls at camp. Like
Yeah.
we're not big, but it's enough that the girls, they bond, they get to know each other, they make new friends. They had a WhatsApp group they put together at the end of camp where they can keep in touch
Yeah.
through the year. Um, and just
I
watching the
love that.
girls be able to step into themselves and to be able to share some things with us that they've never said out loud.
Mhm.
It's beautiful. And we know how healing it
It
is
is.
as women,
I've got
right?
goosebumps. You're talking about
Me
it, I have
too.
goosebumps. And
Me
when you said
too.
about the WhatsApp group too, what came to my mind was you were a little girl in a little town. There was
Mhm.
12 girls in your class, say. Now you open them up to these girls are from all over, wherever they're
Mhm.
coming from. They
Yeah.
see that there's so much more than this little tiny place that we live. They
Mhm.
see that there's so much more and that they are so much more than what
Yeah.
that mean girl said about them yesterday. They can see
Mhm.
it then. You've brought it to light
Yeah.
for them to see that there's more than just what's in your city
Mhm.
limits or your town
Yeah.
limits or your school limits or whatever it is. And that
Mhm.
is, I can see this
It's
growing,
empowering.
Margaret. I can see
Yes.
it
Yeah,
growing.
we want to grow it. We want to grow it.
Mm,
Both of us have full-time careers outside of running the camp,
yes,
so that's where we're sort of like,
yes.
okay, how do we make this bigger? How do we get more people involved? And so if anyone listening to this podcast and is
That
interested in
would be
getting
something.
involved, absolutely
Yes,
reach out to me because we
yes.
would love to talk.
Oh,
Um, One of the things I just wanted to mention before we keep talking about camp is because of the girls that we've had come to camp and the experiences that they've had. Last year, we actually introduced workshops around grief and around trauma, and to give the girls the language to talk about it and to understand what was happening. And there
mhm.
was so many times like our workshops are like maybe 20 minutes long. Like we know the girls have a short attention span, but we're giving them the nuggets of information. And when we were teaching these two workshops, Vicki, you could hear a pin drop in the room, which is not normal for teenage girls. And
Mm-mm.
the girls that sat there and you saw the light bulbs going on, going, oh, that's what I'm experiencing. That's why I react that way. That was, it was like, I've got goosebumps right now, just thinking about even just giving them the language, giving them the
Mhm.
understanding of what they're experiencing, and the school
Ugh,
system. Don't even get me started on the school system. They
no,
do not support kids
that's
at
a
all
whole
who
other
have been through grief or
podcast, that's for
oh,
sure.
that's a whole other podcast. But like kids are breaking up with their boyfriends or girlfriends. They are having issues at home.
Mhm.
Parents are getting divorced. Maybe a parent has died. They failed a test at school. Where's the they don't get the support at school with any of that happening. Either there's the
Oh,
guidance counselor, or I don't know what they call them these days, but there is
is there
someone there.
though?
But what
Really?
student is, yeah, but what student's going to feel comfortable enough and have that level of trust and safety to go to a complete stranger at school
Yeah,
and say,
yeah.
my boyfriend and I just broke up. I need to talk about it. But we haven't even offered them the opportunity to do that. So
No.
yeah,
And they don't even know that
it's
they need
been
to
an
talk
eye
about
opener.
it, Margaret.
No,
Right?
they
They don't
don't.
even need
They
to know
don't.
that they need because they haven't been we're not given a manual when we have children. And as like you
No.
said, most parents are working and we have like, you know what I mean? And we're taking and if we have more
Mhm.
than one child, you're carting this one to this sport and that one and there. And you do the best you can of where you're at. But if
Mhm.
we can
And
implement these things for kids to be able to go somewhere and feel like they are enough and like they are
mhm.
worthy because
Yeah.
you show them that they are with
Mhm.
nothing else,
Yeah.
no strings,
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a
Like you
really
don't have to say
powerful
the right
week.
thing to get that check mark, right? Like, or you
No.
don't have to clean your room to get that. Like there isn't something that you have to do to get something in return. It's just being. Oh, I
Mhm.
love it. I
Absolutely.
just love it.
They just have to be themselves when they're there. And it's it's a struggle that starts for us as a child all the way through
Mhm.
adulthood unless we
Yeah.
are shown how to connect, how to express. And a lot of women have been raised like I know I was speaking with a client yesterday and I'm like, wow, what she's gone through is I've heard a few times with my clients having moms that, when you're a kid and you fall down and you scrape your knee, stop crying. Stop crying. What are you crying about? Like it's just a scraped knee. Or you're upset about something else and you're being told that your emotions don't matter. You're being told to behave. You're being told to be quiet. And so we learn to suppress, which is
Yeah.
why everybody ends up with me and at this age, right? Because we're working through all those things that we've pushed down.
Absolutely.
And so teaching the girls at a
Absolutely.
young age that you have a right to feel. You're going to feel. Let yourself feel. How do you move through those feelings? What do you do
Yeah.
when you're feeling nervous? So, yeah.
And you know what? It's no, we're not faulting the parents either because that they didn't
No.
know any better either. Right? Like
No.
it's like, okay, are you okay? Yep, like, it's
Mhm.
we know that a scraped knee isn't as big of a deal as the 5-year-old is saying it is, but that 5-year-old doesn't know that. So allowing
Right.
them to feel it before we tell them
Mhm.
it's okay, let them, because,
Mhm.
you know, and I've gone through grief, you've gone through grief, and I
Mhm.
know that that process of grief, it doesn't just last 3 months
It's not.
and you're good.
No.
Or
No.
there's no line on that.
No.
So if you have a
No.
child that's been told not to feel at 5, they don't know that at 20 they've lost somebody that they love, or they've something, has happened in their life. They don't understand. How are they supposed to know how to feel or even allow themselves to feel?
Mhm. Well, I think that's the big question, right? Is if you've never been given the opportunity to express your emotion and know that expressing your emotion is healthy. That's
Yeah,
we're supposed to do that. Now, there are ways of expressing it that, you don't wanna be, like, angry and punching people in the face. That's not a way of
exactly.
that's not a healthy way of expressing, but it's
Yeah.
teaching people how to express in a healthy way and teaching people how to move through those emotions because there's that saying that, emotion is energy in motion, right? And
Yes.
so
Yes.
moving it through your body because our bodies are the ones that they hold every emotion, every
Yeah.
experience we've had. And so what I find with my clients is they've had a lifetime of emotions and experiences that have just built up, built up, built up, built up, built up like a pressure cooker. And all of a sudden they're coming, it's like, I'm bursting into tears for no reason. I'm depressed. I'm anxious. I can't handle things the way that I used to. I'm snapping at everybody. I'm sad all the time and I don't understand it. I've got a stomach ache or I've got rashes. And so our body holds on to it so that we can keep
Mhm.
moving. We can keep moving
Yeah.
forward. We can keep living. And when we're
Yeah.
really strong, independent, successful women who've been able to keep our shit together forever and
Mhm.
manage everything for everybody, we tend to put our own healing aside and we'll be like,
Oh.
I'll deal with it later. I know it's there, but I'll deal with it later. And then
Mhm.
we don't
Yep.
because
And
we
then we
move
don't.
forward. And like you and I know, when you're moving forward and moving through time, I know they say time heals all wounds. That's a load of crap. Time just makes it so it's not quite as intense. It's still there. Until you heal it,
Yeah.
it is still there. And so when we get into a point where our body's like, okay, I've had too much to handle. Now you need to start paying attention. That's when we start seeing people having these things that the doctors are giving them pills for and they're being sent but they're still not changing how they feel, right? It's like
No.
I'm really depressed, but this medication is really not helping me. Or, I've got this really bad digestion thing. It doesn't matter what I do. Our body holds on to all of that. And
Mhm.
getting to a place where your body can feel safe enough to access why, which is what I do
Yeah.
with my clients. We go in, like, we do a lot of
Yeah.
emotional transcendent work, and it is so incredibly powerful. I've had clients say to me, Margaret, I did a year of therapy and in one session with you, I got further ahead than I did there.
Mhm.
I'm not doing that to toot my horn, but I've
No.
had more than one client say that. And it's
Yep.
just because my approach is, we go into the body. That's where your emotions are living. They're not living up here.
That's right.
We can think about
No.
them, we can
Yep.
understand them, we can logic our way, but until we actually go into the body and heal them, it's not going to change.
No, and and to be able to help going full circle, like you're helping the girls learn that, but you're also
Mhm.
helping the adults go back and deal with it so that they can move forward stronger and
Mhm.
more fulfilled in their own lives as well. Because, you
Yeah.
know, as women wearing all the hats that we do wear every single day, whether that's, the mom or the whatever it is, we wear them. But at the end of the
Mhm.
day, we're not allowing ourselves to take those hats off because we still have to be thinking about everything that we're doing.
Yeah.
And where's the Vicky hat? Where's just the Margaret hat?
Mhm.
Where
Mhm.
is that hat that's just me? And self-care isn't just about, loving yourself, yes, but dealing with that is self-care. Allowing yourself to let it go and working through
Mhm.
it is self-care. Like
Mhm.
it's
Oh,
multifaceted, and there is it. And I was talking to someone this morning about this, and it's like it's a blessing and a curse when you start working on personal development, because you start seeing these things and you start feeling them like you've never felt before, but then you want to
mhm.
share that with everyone around you, because you see the difference that it makes in your own life and that feeling that it gives you
Yes.
from the inside. And
Mhm.
there's nothing, and not that grief isn't going to come back, because I've worked through a lot in the last few years, and it went back way before my parents passed. But
Mhm.
being able to move through it and being able to
Yeah.
recognize it, I'm not sitting months feeling bad, or
Mhm.
or sitting and stuffing my emotions and not feeling. I'm allowing myself to feel the feels, go through
Yeah.
it. If that takes a day,
Mhm.
great. If it takes a week, fine. It's okay.
Mhm. Yes. And that's a big part of what we need to do, is to give ourselves permission to feel. Like you
Yes.
said, it's okay.
Yes.
I have seen women literally just go, "Ugh," when I say, "You're allowed to feel this." And they're like, "Really?" Yes. You can't control what feelings come up, right?
No.
When we lose someone that we love, and grief is so much more than that, but let's just talk about that. When you lose someone you love, there might be other feelings that'll come up, like relief, because they're out of their suffering, and then you feel guilty for feeling
Yeah.
relieved, and is that making me
Yeah.
a bad person, and you go down this rabbit hole. Then there's the
Yes.
guilt for everything you never said, or the relationship, and there's the resentment about whatever else comes up for you. There could be anger
Yeah.
and sadness, of course, but we think grief is just sadness, but it's not. It's a
Mm-mm.
myriad of
No.
emotions. And when we
Yeah.
start feeling all those emotions, we start judging ourselves for feeling
Yeah.
the emotions that we didn't even know we were going to feel, right? And it's this, it keeps going and going. And then we push it down and we push
Yes.
it down. We go, oh, I must be a bad person to feel this. Or what does this say about my relationship with this? Like, we just spiral. And
Yeah.
instead of just saying, you know what, I'm feeling this right now, it must be coming from somewhere. Let it be
But
there.
we were never taught that. I was never taught
No,
that.
no,
Where's this
no.
where's
I
this
was,
coming
yeah.
from?
Hmm.
Where is
Well,
this
I
coming
don't,
from? I asked my 7-year-old grandsons and my granddaughter that, "Where is this coming from? And how are
hmm
you feeling? Like, I think you're angry. Are you angry, or are you like?" That's in my head. Like, I give
hmm
them the opportunity to tell you,
yeah,
but allowing them to ask them the question, like, "How does this make you
hmm
feel?
hmm
And why did you feel like?" And they're like, "Oh, well, I was angry. Were you sad?" "No, I didn't feel any sadness. I was just angry." Good. Good. You
hmm
you can recognize that, because they get you.
yeah,
And we should be able
hmm
to recognize our feelings.
hmm yeah. And that is
Like, it's
literally half the battle.
yes, it is.
Yeah.
And you know what? To be able to, I don't know, if you're when you're listening to this podcast, I hope that you understand that there's so many layers of everything that we've talked about, but it all comes back to the same thing, and it all comes back to everyone is perfect, whole, and complete. All of the shit that you've
hmm
endured and you've pushed down is because it's the only way you knew how to cope. Doesn't make it wrong,
hmm
doesn't make it bad.
right.
It just makes it the way it is. So
hmm
choosing to change that way, or to shift that way of your feelings, and to really realize why, that's when you start to realize, I do have that power in there, because it was never gone. It's
hmm
just, you may have lost it in somewhere, but it's
yeah.
there.
hmm
You just get to find it again.
Absolutely. Yeah, and paying attention to that is so important. But you're right.
Yeah.
Exactly what you said. We were never taught how to do that.
Yeah.
And I think so much of being human is just figure it out as you go, right?
Yeah.
We don't come with a
Yeah.
manual, and every single one of us on the planet, as similar as we are, we're so different. And
Right.
that's something else, is when it comes to grief, we all respond differently.
Yes.
Think about a family who loses their mom. Every single person in that family is going to experience their grief differently. They're going to express
Yeah.
it differently. And then
Yeah.
what happens is, in the family, people start judging each other because you're not reacting the same way I am, right? And then it's
Mhm.
just, oh, so grief is just something that we don't talk about a lot. It is being talked about more. I do see that. Maybe
Yeah.
because I'm in the grief space, I see it more. But I think grief is one of those emotions that people are afraid of because it's
Mhm.
painful. And we are, we've got that reptilian brain that is always looking for, survival. And so if anything is
Yeah.
painful, we want to run from it. So whether you're a saber-toothed tiger or you're a deep sadness, it's both pain when you get down to
Yeah.
it. And so we avoid it. And talking about it when we're not in it is easier than talking about it when we are in it. And
Right.
we don't teach people how to support one another
Yep.
in a way that's effective. That I think we're like, I don't know. So many people try their best and they say things that maybe they shouldn't say. Like, never say to somebody, I know exactly how you feel, because you don't. Like,
No.
you may have experienced the same loss. Like, maybe they lost their husband and so did you, but you can't say, I know exactly how you feel. You
Mm.
could say, I've been there as well. And I can just imagine how much it hurts. Right.
Yeah.
That's more real than I know exactly how you feel, because you
You're
don't know
right.
what their relationship was like. You don't know what
Mhm.
their history was, and you come at it from
Yeah.
a different place. But
Yeah.
just being there for people, giving them a safe space to feel and letting them know
Mhm.
that they're being supported and honoring their journey.
Yeah.
That's really hard, because I think for a lot of us, we want people to be over there. I say that in quotes because you never get
Yeah.
over it. I want to be really
Yeah.
clear. Grief is with you forever. When you've experienced a deep grief, you carry it with you, but it's the healing and learning how to handle it when it surfaces again, right? Like
Yeah.
we all talk,
Yeah.
we've talked about the triggers, right? We haven't yet, but I mean, say it's 20 years later and you smell your mother's perfume, right? It's going to take you right back there and you may have a few
That's right.
tears. That's normal, right? Um, but yeah, just being able to support people, being able to let them talk about how they feel. But we want people to heal and get over their grief so that we don't have to
Mhm.
see it. And then it's not a threat to us. Because somewhere in our
Mhm.
brain, we figure if it happens to you, it can happen to me. I don't want to catch it, right? It's
Yeah.
literally what it
Yeah.
comes down to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. And saying that as well about the feeling and wanting people to get over it. And I've said this for years with my kids, with the things that they've gone through, with everything. You have
Mhm.
to love people through it and love them where they're at.
Mhm.
And encouraging them, like, if you're still sitting in the same place 20 years later and you still haven't dealt with anything, that's a problem.
Mhm.
Because right, because we get to then because you're not
Yeah.
living your life. You only like, you are with yourself. You're the best relationship you'll ever have because it's with yourself.
Mhm.
You know yourself better
Yeah.
than anyone else. And to
Mhm.
be able to no one would want I know that if I know my parents wouldn't want me to be sitting here feeling sorry for myself. My
No.
parents would want me to continue to live and live the best life that I can live.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
I know
I'm
that,
I'm
and
a
I know
firm
that
believer. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm a firm believer that healing is a choice. And I've had people push back on me on that too. And they're like, what do you mean it's a choice? And I'm like, yes. Initially, you're going
Mhm.
to be super sad and you may be struggling, but somewhere along the line, maybe it's a month from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, whatever that timeline is for you, you get to make that choice. Right?
Mhm.
And it doesn't mean that you forget. And it doesn't mean that
Mm-mm.
you move on and you never think about them and you never feel it.
No.
But somewhere along there, you need to choose that I'm
Mhm.
not going to live in this space. I'm not, and I'm I deserve to be happy too. I deserve to live my life. I deserve,
Yes,
because you do. You
you do.
100% do. And if you've lost
Absolutely.
someone, that is devastating, absolutely devastating. I'm not minimizing that for a second. We
Mm-mm.
feel it, it hurts us. We will carry that with us always. That's
Yeah,
part of life, right? Loss
yeah,
and is part of life. But wallowing in it and sitting in it, some people do that as a way to stay connected. And I
yeah.
get that, but there are other ways of being connected to somebody that allows you to still be present in your life, allows you to still move forward, allows you to
Yeah.
bring them with you. Because one of the
Mhm.
greatest gifts you have when you heal, you can look back with so much love for the people that you've
Yes.
lost versus
That's
the
so true.
sadness.
Mhm.
And it's the
Yep.
love that you bring forward and it's the joy. It's not easy. It's a lot
Mhm.
of work.
Oh,
And I
it's
think
not.
that's why so many people avoid it because it hurts.
Yep. Yeah.
It does
But
hurt. Not
my
gonna
thing is
lie.
choosing your hard, right? Like, choose your
Mhm.
hard. Is it easy to sit in it? No, it's not. It's not easy to
Mm-mm.
sit in it either.
No.
So, for so if I've been asking this question a lot lately, and this has been something that really it came up for me recently, so I've been kind of asking it to women on the
Mhm.
podcast. But if there was something you could say to your self in 10 years, because I know that
Mhm.
right now, we're all so worried about this, that, and the other thing. But in 10 years from now, if there was something that you could say to
To
yourself,
myself in 10 years?
yeah, what would that be?
Oh, it would be, "I'm so glad you didn't wait. I'm so glad you went for it. And so proud of you for living your life to the fullest and for making a difference."
I
I
love
I
that.
think it would be, yeah. And I'd also say, "Way to go for being a really good mom," because I am a good mom. That's one of the things I
I love
love being, and yeah, I would be really proud of myself from 10 years if
that.
and for where I've taken my life and the career that I've created and the family that I've created and just the friendships, everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
What would you say to
I love that.
you? What would you say to your 10 years from now?
I would say you did it, girl. You did it.
Mhm. Mhm.
You really did. And you believed in it, you saw it, and you knew it could be, and you did it.
Mhm.
Because I truly believe that um, everything that has happened in my life up until now has brought me here. And I am doing it now, changing this world for women because we're sharing our stories and we are going to
Mhm.
make a difference. And that's what I believe. So I'm going to say to myself, look at what you've done
Mhm.
with the help and the support of each and every one of the women that we've come in contact with. We did
Mhm.
it together, and that's makes me very proud. I love my kids and my grandkids and my husband and my people. Like, I have a beautiful life and I am grateful for it every single day. And that's
Mhm.
important to me. I have been blessed with beautiful people in my life, and including my children and my family and the connections that I've
Mhm.
made. But in 10 years, I really hope to look at everything and just from a very proud mom-like look, like, how when your
Mhm.
daughter does those things, I know how it makes me feel when my kids, do something, or my grandkids or whatever, and it makes me just so proud. But yeah, that's what I would say. You did it.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. So in 10
Yeah.
years from now, we're gonna be like, "Remember that podcast that we did?"
Yes, yes, yes.
Are
I'm
we
gonna put
still
it in my
saying that to
phone.
ourselves?
I'm
Yeah.
gonna put it in my phone. I am. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, you know what,
Yeah.
my dear? I appreciate your time so much because I know how
Mm.
busy you are and I know how much you take care of you because you give so much away. And
Mm.
that's the beauty of being someone who cares for others. And,
Yeah.
and I never realized how important it was, the self-care part of loving ourselves as much
Mm.
as we can so that we can fill our own cup to give it away to others and not be
Yeah.
just giving it away and feeling empty inside, because then we're not doing
Mhm.
any good to anyone. But,
Exactly.
you have,
Exactly.
yeah, and you have created this space for children and for women and for,
Mhm.
to grieve and to feel like they aren't alone, like they are someone that they deserve to be. And
Mhm.
I thank you for that, because
Oh,
I believe
thank
we
you.
need more people like you in the world. And I'm so blessed to have you as someone that I can call a friend. So thank you for being here.
Oh. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you and the mission that you're on because I think sharing women's stories is so important. So important.
Yeah. Thank
So
you.
thank you.
Everything you need to know about Margaret will be in our show notes, so you can contact her, get in touch with her. The information regarding the summer camp will always also be there. So please reach out if you're even on the fence, don't be, and share this with somebody that needs to hear this because together we are stronger and we can make a difference. So thank you so much, everyone. See you next time. Thank you for joining me on this episode of The Art of Being Unstoppable. Remember, your story matters, your voice matters, and your power is limitless. If you love today's conversation, subscribe, share it with the women in your life, and leave a review to help more women discover their unstoppable selves. I'm Vicki McDougall, and I'll see you in the next episode, because your journey to unstoppable starts now.